Hi, I'm Sweet Sylvanians, and I make videos about Sylvanian families, also known as Calico critters, and it really seems to be the season for new items, as I have yet another new product announcement today, though this time it's part of a new theme. So we have a brand new owl family, along with a house, some furniture and a garden, and a little cat on a broomstick too. These form part of a new range, which the brand is calling Little Tales, which has a kind of magical dark academia theme and a book-looking logo. Late on Saturday, the Japanese official social media posted this picture of some figures stargazing from the back. Naturally, looking closer at this gave some questions, as the feet weren't like any figures we already have, and I was even hypothesising the figure on the right was an owl. And then on Sunday, these 4 sets were quietly put up on the Japanese official store, and so the mysterious figures were indeed revealed to be owls. So in this video, I'll talk through each of the 4 sets and also look more closely at the figures, as these aren't the first Sylvanian Families Owls. The first new set is called The House Where the Owl Can See the Stars, and it's the largest one. This set comes with a house, 2 interesting pieces of furniture, and an adult owl figure. I haven't been able to find their names at the time I'm recording this, but the store page does say this is the mother. She is a white owl with yellow rings around her eyes and some very slight grey tips on the feathers on the top of her head. Her beak looks more long than we've seen before in other birds and is an unflocked yellow plastic. She has wings rather than arms and a pale blue gown with some whimsical swirls and moons down the centre and at the hem. I think the hood and cape are a separate piece to the gown and a slightly darker blue, though this fabric does look to be the cheaper satin style, with the hood just being cut rather than hemmed and only printed on one side. And close up you can see the yellow ribbon and all those different designs. I would have loved if the clothes were the regular cotton with some embroidered details instead, as this does look kind of cheap to me. But I am intrigued by the design of the figure and how it looks from other angles. We can see the wings do move, and I think the feet are flocked too. This set also comes with a small cottage, which has a purple roof and kind of looks like a tree house on the top of a tree stump. I love how this is a little wonky with roof shingles and pointy turrets. It's actually quite colourful with the blue door too, and a chimney out of the side. And this little balcony on the side can come off as well. There are 2 furniture pieces that come with this house, so not quite enough to fill it out, but they are pretty detailed. On the right is a telescope, which is gold on a brown stand. This is the most detailed telescope we've had in a while, and I like that the lens is translucent plastic to look more realistic. The other item is described as a magical experiment apparatus. It sort of looks like a crystal tank thing on a side table with a star trapped inside. There's maybe crystals on top, so I'm not quite sure what experiment is going on. Hopefully the owls aren't stealing the stars. The set description also says when you turn the handle of the experiment apparatus, the crystals appear to float and glow, so that would be fun to see. These are all the items included as is, and I especially love how whimsical the house looks. This is the only photo I've seen of the inside of the house, and we can see a bit more detail on the door frame, which looks like knotted wood, and also a purple trim with star details engraved in. However, the other items you can see, and the little baby, come in the second set. This one is called Little Tales Collection, The Owl's Secret Room, and is a bit smaller. So there's quite a few items, which would fill out the house in the first set, and what I'm assuming is the mother owl's baby. Here's that baby, and again, I couldn't find their names yet. They are very fuzzy, kind of like the Persian cats, and have tufty, feathery ears on the top of their head. One of these is covered by their lilac hat, which is a witchy style. This baby has a green colour scheme with a satin gown, but I feel it looks better on here, especially with the emerald green cloak, compared to the mother's outfit. I think the baby is also white like his mum, but he might be an off-white or grey. They do both have the same long beak as well, just the baby's is fuzzy and not hard plastic. This is the furniture that comes in the secret room set. There's 4 main pieces plus a rug. First we have a rocking chair. This is dark brown plastic to look like oak wood perhaps. It looks comfy with a blue tufted cushion, but that is plastic too. And at the top of the chair back is a carved owl design with swirly eyes and face details. That does kind of get covered though when the baby is placed on the chair. There's also a grandfather clock made out of the same brown plastic, and this has owl moulding too, but this owl looks more sleepy. The description says that the pendulum swings on this, and also the clock moves as well. Here we can see it's at different angles. I think this sideboard is my favourite furniture piece. This is technically a specimen shelf with some interesting little trinkets on display. It's a pink coloured star, a white fossil and a purple crystal on the top. And on the inner shelf there are some minerals in glass displays, and I think there are gaps on the top to make it look like they're glowing. which is a fun trick they seem to be employing in a few different sets recently. There's also a globe in this set, which is purple with painted silver stars, and it sits on a gold stand. The globe itself looks a bit translucent, so another different effect. And in the main room, that looks to sit on a star-inspired rug, which I love in the room for adding another texture. I'm not quite sure if this layout of furniture works, as the clock and shelf seem to be blocking the door, but it does look very cosy with the mum and baby looking at the celestial globe together. So far, that has all been for the inside of the house, but the third set is for outside. This one is called Littletail's Collection, The Owl's Mysterious Vegetable Garden. It features another baby owl along with a vegetable patch and little shed or extra room. The baby looks the same as the other one, just in a pink and purple outfit instead, and this one has a metallic pink band on the hat. So together, I just see the wicked colours of pink and green. The babies look identical other than their outfits, and I would have loved if they were a bit different, like how Sky and Lyra, the Persian cat sisters, are different colours. But the vegetable patch and shed is the real delight in this set for me. The building matches the large house with cream walls and a purple shingled roof, and there's also a little green lamp off the side. There's a few different vegetables in the ground. I think it's a pumpkin, a big beetroot or the top of a red carrot, some sort of flowering plant and 2 mushrooms. There's also a pot of stew, though it seems to be directly on the soil. That has a spoon in, and if you move that back and forth, it makes the vegetables sway. I'm not quite sure on the point of this, but it seems fun. And also the large garden fork on the side can be removed. Here's the garden next to the large house, and you can see that they definitely go together. I like how at the front of the scene, the mum and baby are doing their magical experiment and the star is glowing. And here we have Lala Alpine using Mother Owl's telescope on the little balcony. But also the building from the vegetable patch can be put up there to make a turret. And then the vegetable patch is just left as a simple field, but you could easily put a wheelbarrow or flower pots on there to fill it out. Next up in the top left, there's something on the chimney. It's a little broom on top of the cloud, and this is the final set of the current Littletail's collection. This is called the Flying Broom in the Moonlight set, and it's the only one to not include an owl figure. This is a broomstick hovering above a cloud, there's a lamp hanging off it, and a weird clear piece of plastic behind, which has a moon and floating spellbook on it. The baby is Silk Cat Jilly Golightly, and she's wearing another witchy costume. This is the cheaper polyester fabric again, and just printed and singed at the hem. This style dress is good though because it's elasticated and doesn't need velcro or another fastening, but again, a bit of embroidery or even a bead would have just been a lovely detail. Jilly is also wearing a pointed hat that's purple with painted gold stars, and there's 2 cutouts for her ears. The side-up view shows her little cape, which matches in terms of design. As for the broom piece, this is what it looks like without Jilly, and there's a peg for her to rest against, as I imagine it could be quite tricky to get her to balance on there. The book is open, on a page with some sort of mystical runes. The lantern has a star inside, and I think this will glow as well. There's wheels on the bottom, and I think when you push this along, the broom moves up and down to look like it's flying, though this graphic makes it look a bit too intense. So here's Jilly instead on the ground, and I assume there's a hole on the base to get this set up with the house on the chimney. So those are the 4 new sets, which together make the new Littletail's collection. They're all released on the 25th of April, so we do have to wait a little bit. I don't think they'll be an official store exclusive, as I've already seen the listings on other Japanese websites, and that usually means they'll be more widely available. The prices range from 3,200 and 3,300 yen for the smaller sets, and 5,200 yen for the large house with Mother Owl. So to get all of the owls, that's 11,700 yen, which equates to about £55 or $73 plus an extra $20 or £15 for the cat broomstick to complete this first release of the Littletail's collection. I say first release because I imagine if this sells well, then the brand will definitely be expanding the range. Obviously the main thing to talk about is the owls. I've never been the biggest fan of the bird figures, though I usually come around when I see them in person. However, I'm not really sure about these. The white flocking is quite stark, and although the mum has some grey on her feathery ears, more colour would have made her look more interesting. And when I posted this family on the Sylvanian Families subreddit, other collectors were saying similar things. Some also mentioned that the babies don't really look like owls either, at least from these images. There have been Sylvanian owls up until now. The grey tree fellows on the branch were originally released in Japan in 1986, and then a couple of years later in the UK range under Tomy. Their babies are called Winky, Grumpy and Blinky, and have different expressions. There were a few editions of these, including some darker grey ones by Flair. but the other owls are paler and called the plumes. These had a more limited release in the UK and as part of the Dream Project range in Japan in the mid-2000s. I think these owls have a lot of character, and I do have the Treefillows in my own collection. So comparing the new owls, I do feel a bit disappointed. I've already given my feelings on the clothes, and the mother's outfit in particular looks like one from a blind bag or blind box, such as this Milky Way series. The fabric, with only one side printed and scalloped edges, look pretty similar to me, though Sky's cape has a ribbon and felt star, and another star on the hood too. I like the overall magical theme, as it's something I've actually spoken about wanting before back in my 25 ideas for 2025 video. The furniture pieces are quite detailed, and I really like the colour scheme too, which makes a change from all the pastels we've seen from the Endless Nursery and Baby Amusement Park ranges. However, I don't like that you do have to buy all 4 sets to complete the scene, and some parts do look a bit flat, like the rocks under the stew just being a single colour, and also the pumpkin being completely orange rather than with a different coloured stem. I'm not sure yet if I'll be buying these items. Honestly, I like the buildings and furniture more than the figures, and they're also fairly small, which would fit in my collection, though there's not much space in them, especially for the price. I could see someone crafty using chalk pastels or eyeshadow to make the figures more detailed, though really I would have wanted Sylvanian Families to do that instead. So maybe a little bit of a moan, but do let me know what you think of these sets and the owls, and what things you'd like to see if this Little Tales collection gets more items. And thank you for watching this video. If you like Sylvanian Families content, then subscribe to my channel, as I post videos every week about everything Sylvanian, including all these new sets, announcements and news, as well as the usual unboxings and setups.